Hello everyone. Today I am here with a revision of the first chapter, the French Revolution. In the first part of the revision, we discuss about the causes of French Revolution. We also discuss the outbreak of the revolution. France became constitutional monarchy, and even we discuss the political symbol which were used in those days by the people of the France to express their views. Now today I would like to start with the topic France abolishes monarchy and become a republic. As we discussed in the previous lecture, Louis XVI had signed the constitution, but he started secret negotiation with the emperor of neighboring country. The emperor of the neighboring country, they were also worried by the situation which was emerged in France. So they decided to send troops to suppress the revolution. But before this could happen, the National Assembly declared war against Prussia and Austria. Thousands of volunteers joined the army from all over France, because people saw this war as a war of the people against king and aristocracy all over the Europe. Later, the National Assembly voted to imprison the royal family, and then elections were held. 21 years and above people, they were getting voting right regardless of wealth. On 21st September 1792, France abolished the monarchy and became republic. Louis XVI was sentenced to death by the court, and on the charge of the treason, Queen Mary Antoinette also met with the same fate after short time. Then we discuss Reign of Terror. The period from 1793 to 1794 is referred as a Reign of Terror in France, because it was the rule of Jacobin Club, and the leader of Jacobin Club was Maximilien Robespierre. When he came into power, he started to punish all his enemies. He took severe steps. Because of it, his supporter also demanded to bring some changes in France. So finally, he was convicted by the court in July 1794. He was arrested, and next day he was sent to guillotine. We also discussed about what is this guillotine. Guillotine, it was a device invented by Dr. Guillotine, and this device consists two poles and a blade, and this was used for beheading a person. Next topic is Directory Rule France. After the end of Maximilien Robespierre, a new constitution was introduced, and they appointed a directory. But the directors often clash with each other. So in such political instability of the directory, it provided a way for military dictator in the form of Napoleon Bonaparte. Now the women participation in revolution. From the very beginning, women were active participants in the French Revolution. They hoped that their involvement in revolution pressurized government to introduce measures to improve the life of the women. To discuss their voice and to raise their interest, women also started to establish their political club. The main aim of this political club to demand equal political right for the women as men, and most important is right to vote. But they were not given right to vote. Finally, the women of the France, they got voting right in 1946. Then we discuss the abolition of slavery. We discussed that there was a triangular slave trade between Africa, Europe and America. In those days, tobacco, indigo, sugar and coffee, these commodities were in great demand in European market. So the plantation owner of the America, they require a labor. But European people, they were unwilling to go there for the work. So European merchant, they traveled to Africa, they contact with the local chieftain and they brought a slave. These slave they took with themselves and sent them into Caribbean colonies. These slaves, they had to work as a plantation worker. They were living very difficult life. The Jacobin Club, they took the step to abolish the slavery in French colonies in 1794. But again in 1804, when Napoleon came into power, he reintroduced slavery in France. But finally, slavery was abolished in France in 1848. Now, the topic is revolution and everyday life. Actually, the Declaration of Rights of Man and Citizen proclaimed freedom of speech and expression as a natural right for the citizen of the France. Rise of the Napoleon Bonaparte. After the end of Reign of Terror, directly created political instability. This provided way for Napoleon. In 1804, Napoleon Bonaparte crowned himself as an emperor of France. Napoleon showed his role as a modernizer of Europe. So he brought many changes not only in the French society, but he implemented these changes wherever his army invaded and established control. He brought so many changes in European society. Initially, the people of Europe welcomed Napoleon army and they show as a liberator. Napoleon as a liberator. But when he started to capture, to control, to take control of other part of the Europe, so they started to declare Napoleon force as an invading force. So in the Battle of Waterloo in 1815, Napoleon was defeated by British and Prussian army. The last topic of the chapter is legacy of the French Revolution. As we discussed, the ideas of liberty and democratic rights were the most important legacy. Legacy means the gift of the French Revolution. And this idea of freedom and democratic rights from France, it spread not only into Europe but all over the world. And these ideas were also accepted by some Indian freedom fighters such as Tipu Sultan and Raja Ram Mohan Roy. With this, dear, the revision of the chapter, the French Revolution, is over. I hope no point in the chapter remain unclear for you. In the next lecture, I will give you notes and important question of the same chapter. Thank you very much.